Bam. Bam. Good morning and welcome everybody to the Crypto Mining Show, your one-stop shop for all cryptocurrency news from the perspective of a cryptocurrency miner, which is myself. My gamer tag is Blind Run. That's what I went with when I started setting up my Steam profile way back in the day, probably before a lot of y'all were even born. Now, today's show, we're going to be covering basically kind of a flip on the perspective of cryptocurrency and its ability to get around sanctions. Remember, we talked about earlier this week and last week when everything was going on with Russia and Ukraine regarding essentially no, Bitcoin can't fix this regarding the sanctions, and that was an opinion piece on CoinDesk. In my humble opinion, if I look at what's happening right now, it looks like they're incorrect. Now, we're going to remove the emotion once again when we talk about this later. We're going to look at it as objectively as possible and get it covered. After that, we also do have a ton of more information. We have eBay coming in strong. They're going to be looking at adding crypto payment as an option. We have the Nvidia hack being confirmed by Nvidia. We have a new miner coming from Biostar, and it's a full mining plug and play ready to go setup, which looks pretty interesting. And of course, the gamers are mad about it. We'll talk about that too. And then we'll be going over cryptocurrency profitability for the week. So we have tons of cool stuff. Make sure you hit that like button, share the stream out. It helps tremendously. Let's get into it after a word from today's partner. I say that, let me click the button. Today's video is brought to you in partnership with GamerSupps. GamerSupps provides a healthy alternative to sugary energy drinks with delicious flavors like Misfits Melon or my favorite Blue Raz. I use the GamerSupps as an alternative to support my active lifestyle outside of content creation. Caffeine-free options are great for late-night gaming after the kids have gone to bed. And my favorite part about GamerSupps is that they accept cryptocurrency, and for a limited time, when you purchase a tub with cryptocurrency, you will receive a Bitcoin shaker. Follow the affiliate link in the description, and don't forget to use code SOAT at checkout. Alrighty, so let's get the big one out of the way today. Coming from Cryptopolitan, Russians switch to Bitcoin as ruble collapses to new all-time low. Big deals going on here. This was written yesterday at 9:41 a.m., February 28th, 2022. Just when we were starting the live show. So the TLDR, there we go, breakdown is trading volume for the Russian ruble, and Bitcoin spiked to a 9-month high. The value of a ruble recently hit an all-time low. Russians are increasingly converting their ruble, the nation's currency, holdings to Bitcoin BTC following the ongoing crisis with Ukraine. A Paris-based cryptocurrency research platform Kaiko confirms. The BTC RUB trading volume spikes. Since Thursday, the Russian ruble and Bitcoin trading volume has been on the increase as the Russian military pressed further into Ukraine. According to Kaiko, the BTC RUB trading volume spiked to a 9-month high, reaching nearly 1.5 billion RUB, or 13,157,894 US dollars at the time. Most of the trades were conducted on Binance, says Kaiko's research analyst Clara Medley. There we go. Kaiko also reported that trading volume for Tether and the Russian ruble increased an 8-month high of 1.3 billion rub, or 11,764,705 US dollars when Russia attacked Ukraine. Meanwhile, the trading volume for Bitcoin in Ukraine, including USDT and UAH, also spiked, but not as high as the October levels, Medley added. On the 25th of February, Ukrainian crypto exchanges reported over a 200% increase in trading volume as users scrambled to convert to crypto. Why is Russia's crypto volume increasing? Investors in Russia are increasingly switching to Bitcoin and US dollar stablecoins to preserve their money from the ruble collapse. The Russian economy has been severely hit following tougher sanctions imposed on the country by the United States and other major nations of the world. The sanctions have placed a huge stress on ruble, and which led to a massive drop in ruble value. Ruble tanked to a new all-time high, particularly dropping over 40% after the SWIFT sanctions were announced. The RUB USD pair was trading at 117.62 some hours ago. Thus, the locals are converting their RUB holding to Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies in a bid to preserve their money. In the wake of the crisis, the crypto and traditional markets were affected. However, Bitcoin and gold recorded a short-lived increase, indicating their dominance as hedge assets. Now, if you guys remember last week, what we had talked about is CoinDesk had said, no, this wouldn't fix the sanction problems for Russia. Now, we could be making, of course, a distinction, or should make the distinction between, once again, the Russian people and the Russian government, and whether or not Bitcoin can help the government is different than Bitcoin helping the people. And because we are here to help the entire population of the world, regardless of race, religion, or so on, basically that's what Bitcoin is here for, and it looks to be serving its purpose in multiple different facets. Not only is it helping people to transact without the interference of geopolitical strife, right? Or governments or banks, etc. But it is also being used as a hedge for collapsing economies. Remember, the reason Bitcoin was created was after the 2008 housing crisis, when basically in the United States, we had a huge stock market issues and, of course, huge issues with the housing market, etc. And it put a lot of people in a bad place. Bitcoin was there to kind of hedge against that sort of behavior. We've seen, of course, cryptocurrencies like Digibyte work in places like Venezuela as well to help the people there. And on a global scale, it's clearly working for everybody, because two nations that are within conflict right now are both utilizing cryptocurrency on the public sphere, like as far as the humans that are citizens of those countries able to utilize it. I think overall that's a good thing, and it doesn't say, I'm not saying that necessarily it fixes sanctions, but for the most part, the opinion piece seems to be proven wrong that we talked about last week from CoinDesk. And it's further confirmed, of course, by a CoinDesk article that also released yesterday. Ruble-denominated Bitcoin volume surges to a 9-month high. The increase comes as the West's sanctions on Russia trigger a flight from the ruble. And you can see, of course, the chart here. Trading volumes between the Russian ruble and Bitcoin increased to a 9-month high as the country's fiat currency plunged to record lows due to the fallout from the invasion of Ukraine. Data tracked by Kaiko, and we already went over all of this. I just kind of wanted to point out that essentially we have multiple reports coming in, and that is where we are at. So what do I think? Like I said, I think that this is a good thing. It shows that the purpose of cryptocurrency is coming to full light. We aren't just utilizing it to stack our bags worth of NFTs and make quick money. It is actually helping people, and I think that this is a good thing overall. So, that out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about eBay. eBay to add crypto payment options soon says CEO. This is coming from Cointelegraph. The e-commerce giant aims to become the marketplace for millennials and Gen Z, and given their rising interest in crypto, add new payment options to lure in customer base. Major e-commerce marketplace eBay could integrate crypto payments soon, said CEO Jamie Lanone in a recent interview. I may have that last name mispronounced. The internet marketplace is among the oldest e-commerce platforms, now looking to become the go-to platform for Gen Z and millennials. The CEO said in an interview with The Street that the firm has been looking to integrate crypto payment options for quite some time, and an official announcement could be made during the upcoming Investors Day on March 10th. During his interview, Lanone revealed that e-commerce giant is looking to transition to new payment modes, as they already managing $85 billion of volume on its platform directly. Talking about eBay's stance on emerging technologies such as blockchain and cryptocurrencies, Lanone pointed towards growing popularity of non-fungible tokens trading on its platform, without making any official announcement regarding the same. Do not be purchasing NFTs on eBay. There's no tracking built into there. There's no tie to the chains. So you're basically performing an off-chain purchase, which doesn't guarantee that you will actually receive the NFT. Please don't do that. Just making that statement right now, unless of course eBay does move into the NFT sales marketplace and they start integrating the Ethereum blockchain or other NFT supported blockchains, Solana, etc. Until then, don't be doing any off-chain purchases of NFTs. That is very dangerous. The rise in popularity and demand for cryptocurrencies has made several online platforms add crypto payment options. eBay, with its focus on capturing millennial and Gen Z customers, aims to do the same. However, it won't be the company's first attempt at crypto payments. eBay first tried integrating Bitcoin payments in 2014. As Cointelegraph reported in May of 2021, eBay was exploring Bitcoin payment integration last year as well, along with NFT trading. The crypto payment integration plan now seems to be near finalized, as crypto has become mainstream and more acceptable among the masses. It's coming. It's happening. It's just happening, guys. It's happening. Cryptocurrency is at the forefront. It is the thing on everybody's mind. People that don't understand it are coming in and trying to learn about it. People that have been in it for a long time are benefiting immensely from it. We have obviously all the important stuff with the Ukraine and Russia and the geopolitical stage. Excuse me, I'm kind of blocking. I'm not revving on all cylinders right now. I think we might hold on. Let's just do this. And of course, we see all of it coming to fruition right now. Large companies like eBay finally hopping in. We have Jack Dorsey with Block hopping in. We have Intel hopping in for building miners. It's getting absolutely insane. I didn't know that it would ramp up this fast, this quickly. And I definitely, as you guys know, was expecting another bear market, which appears to not actually be the case whatsoever. Does that mean that we are out of the traditional super cycle all the way? Maybe, maybe not. We haven't fully hit tax season yet. We are in March here. We do have till mid-April for some big dumps to happen, which could potentially happen, especially as the market is up. So keep that in mind. One thing that may happen is people that are trying to pay taxes, cover taxes, etc., may be dumping while the market is really, really high right before they need to basically pay taxes, etc., and that could happen. They would incur, of course, capital gains for next year, but who knows if they really care about that. So that's kind of the only thing that I could see really hitting the market really hard that I'm observing. It's not financial advice, but overall, crypto's doing what it's supposed to do. So, and it's starting to get adoption by the masses. Pretty cool. Yesterday, we talked about Nvidia and the hack that was going on with Lutress, I believe it is, the hacking group that threatened essentially to release a full 100% light hash rate unlock, and if Nvidia did not release it themselves. We don't have information on that, but we do have confirmation that Nvidia was in fact compromised. Coming from WCCF Tech, Nvidia posts official response to last week's cyber attack. Proprietary information stolen, but business and services continue as usual. Nvidia has posted its official response on last week's cyber attack that compromised its systems and confirmed that hackers were able to steal proprietary information. This statement provided by Nvidia confirms that the company was indeed hit by a cyber attack last week on 23rd of February 2022. Nvidia reports that none of the systems were inflicted with malicious code such as ransomware, but the hacking group Lopsus, there we go, who were tracked by back to South America, have been able to get their hands on proprietary information, which includes employee data, driver and software bypasses, and documents regarding future products. Quote, on February 23rd, 2022, Nvidia became aware of a cybersecurity incident which impacted IT resources. Shortly after discovering the incident, we further hardened our network, engaged cybersecurity incident response experts, and notified law enforcement. We have no evidence of ransomware being deployed on the Nvidia environment or that this is related to the Russia-Ukraine conflict. However, we are aware that the threat actor took employee credentials and some Nvidia proprietary information from our systems and has begun leaking it online. Our team is working to analyze that information. We do not anticipate any disruption to our business or our ability to serve our customers as a result of the incident. Security is a continuous process that we take very seriously at Nvidia, and we invest in the protection and quality of our code and products daily, end quote. That is Nvidia representative via the hardware Lux. The hackers already threatening to leak this information and have already posted password hashes, light hash rate BIOS unlocks, which I don't know where these are. I guess we got to go do some research, boys. We got to go find where these light hash rate unlocks were. You know what's really disgusting about that? If Nvidia had those light hash rate unlocks on their servers, there are probably GPU farms that have 3080 Ti's at full hash rate that cut a deal with Nvidia, and that's absolutely disgusting, but more than likely the case. And information on the next gen Nvidia products over in their public Telegram group. So I guess we got to go get in that Telegram group and see what's going on. The good news is that Nvidia's business and systems aren't disrupted and the services continue without any issues. There could still be a lot of information that these hackers have in their hands or have their hands on, since they were able to extract 1 terabyte of data from their exfiltration attempt. Here's a screenshot. Most of this looks like it's all from DLSS. It's literally source DLSS stuff. This stuff is dangerous to Nvidia for a couple reasons. If this is out there, this is the kind of thing that AMD and Intel would purchase on the black market. I don't care who you are, and if you think that they're so ethical that they would never do that to reverse engineer DLSS for their own applications, you're living in a fairy tale land. I think that this is probably, from a technology standpoint, more dangerous for Nvidia than even like a light hash rate unlock. We're talking about access to proprietary software that significantly increases the performance level of super sampling, and we could see that, being purchased. I could see it being purchased by Nvidia or Intel or AMD on the black market, or just if it's leaked, they just get it. They reverse engineer it. And there is that argument, though, of like, maybe this stuff should be open source anyways. Maybe, it creates more competition in the market, etc. There's positivity there as well. It's not necessarily a negative thing. Obviously, it's bad for Nvidia and so on. And I don't know how legally it would work if essentially the code was copied directly for AMD or Intel or anything along those lines. But that's not my expertise. It's just what I see. Even as of right now, while we are posting this story, the hackers are leaking more information and have released the source code of NVIDIA's DLSS technology. According to Tech Power Up, the leak includes C++ files, headers, assets, and even a programming guide used by developers that helps towards the use and development of the technology. Pretty wild here. It does look like the public is going to eventually end up with access to full light hash rate unlocks legitimately, not any sort of crazy scam deal going on. Of course, be careful. Just a reminder, I think people will know that essentially everybody is waiting for these light hash rate unlocks, and you could end up again with a malware situation. So wait until we get a verified source for light hash rate, 100% unlocks, all of that, and then we'll go from there. I'll check chat a little bit later. Let me know, guys, if you have already found it. I'm curious. This is a big one. So we do have an interesting move coming from Biostar, and they are basically releasing a new Ethereum or GPU miner, really. And it is kind of an all-in-one solution. Think Octominer coming with the GPUs. You have 3 different options of GPUs right now. You have RX 580s, 570s, and 560s. They're pretty old as far as GPU mining cards go. So definitely don't overpay for them. I have reached out to Biostar directly, trying to figure out a review sample, etc. Hopefully we'll get one. I still have yet to really ever directly get product from anybody outside of, trying to even remember here. We never got one. We paid for that one. Usually it's all been third party. So directly from a company, especially within mining, I haven't ever actually gotten anything. It's always been through a third party. Hopefully maybe one day it breaks and we start getting some review samples because it makes life a little bit easier. But here's the post on their Facebook. Are you looking for your gold mined? And then they have a link here, basically a little picture. Plug and mine Biostar 8 RX 580s. It means 232 mega hash a second at plus or minus 5%. It's called the Iminer A588X8D2, and hassle-free plug-and-play mining system, supports major cryptocurrencies such as ETH, ETC, Raven, and Ergo. One of the things I really do like that they did here with this ad is they are adding in alternate currencies outside of Ethereum. They listed Ethereum Classic, they listed Raven, and they even listed Ergo. All of these are also relevant for Polaris GPUs. So seeing a large company not just say Ethereum is a positive thing, especially in the GPU mining market. So they are listening, they are paying attention, and that's very positive. Here is where it hyperlinks to. And as you can see, you have essentially 3 versions here. You have the Iminer A578X6, and this one, we'll click into it, is going to be 6 RX 570 GPUs, and that is pretty much there. We can see if we can get the data sheet. We'd have to download it. Okay, you guys can go here a little bit later, I guess, and check it all out. Okay, here's the specifications. So you got an Intel 3930 in there, 4 gigabytes of DDR4. You got a 90 gigabyte SSD, a 1300 watt power supply. Here's your rear panel connectors, what LAN it uses. Here's the cryptocurrency that it says it does support. It does give you the hash rates estimate, 165 mega hash a second. And they're basing that on Windows 10, which is interesting, and Claymore. So that's probably a little bit older. Let's go ahead and see what our other options are here. We have the Iminer A564X12P. This is going to come with 12 RX 560 GPUs inside. Let's go ahead and look at the specifications. Once again, same CPU, same memory, same SSD. Only real difference here is you're getting 12 RX 564 gigabytes. It says 148 mega hash a second on ETH. Of course, that would need to be Ethereum Classic because of the 4 gigabyte size on there. Let's go ahead and look at the newest one that they just announced today. And it is going to have the 8 of the RX 580 GPUs inside. Plug in mine. All right, so we have a little bit of an update. We're getting a TB360 BTC D Plus motherboard, and that is going to be the later generation Intel G4900 CPU. You are going to get 8 gigabytes of DDR4, clocked at 2,666 megahertz, a 120 gigabyte hard drive, and 8 RX 580s. This one's definitely the newest one, and it makes the most sense. You're looking at 232 mega hash a second on their estimates. So it looks good. The design looks good. You got very basic I/O, right? Your power button there, 4 USB slots, an HDMI port for the onboard video, and then you got your LAN port, and then of course all of the GPUs. You know, 1, 2, 3, 4, presumably high RPM, high CFM server grade fans. And the configuration is mostly in and then probably out the back there. Doesn't look bad. So I've sent off an inquiry. We'll see if we can pick it up. The gamers are not happy about it. Both WCCF Tech, video cards, Tom's Hardware are basically slamming Biostar at this point, saying Biostar does not care about gamers. Well, here's a note. We're not getting RTX 3000 GPUs in there. All right, we're getting RX 580s, which are old GPUs. I wouldn't see a case where even if pricing reduced, that a lot of gamers are going out and purchasing RX 580s. I don't really see that being a thing necessarily. So it's a little ridiculous that they're making these attacks on Biostar. Biostar also has never really necessarily been huge in the gaming market. They've definitely been more along the lines of kind of the white box stuff, etc. I guess they do carry over a little bit into gaming, but it's never been like a huge number one thing that they've been into. They've been across the board in technology space for a while. It's kind of a weird attack. I get it. They're kind of going towards their base, right? And that is how it works. But if you're a gamer also, like, I'm not going to recommend an RX 580 at this point. Seems a little silly. Let's talk about the mining farm. I have, here's my Hive OS pulled up. We did add Varus coin into the CPUs. I was like, why am I not mining anything on my CPUs? We're getting load averages high. Basically, we have a 4770 in here at 7 mega hash a second. We have a 3600 XT at 14 mega hash a second. We have a 5800X at 21 mega hash a second. We have a Threadripper at 30 mega hash a second. And we have an 8700 down here, 8700K at 7.6 mega hash a second. And then we have 112 GPUs online. 2 GPUs are giving me trouble. I got to go out there and get them fixed. We did the mining tour yesterday, so you can go check that out. I realized we had bouncy cam, that sort of thing. Now, I do have a gimbal, but the camera is very, very heavy, and it wasn't really working very well. So I got to figure it out. It's a lot easier if I could have somebody record, obviously. So if you're in the Texas area and you're interested, I guess shoot me an email. Maybe we can go grab some coffee and I can get some help getting some recording done. I am mining to Crazy Pool right now. That's what I prefer to mine to right now. We already talked about moving off of Flex Pool. And we have 18 workers online sitting around 5.5 gigahash a second. Our last payout was today at 6 a.m. for 0.1 ETH. We are down a little bit. We were doing 0.1 ETH a day, and then it slowed, way down. Our balance, our unpaid balance is at 0.016 in unpaid. And then, that plus the 0.1, really not doing that great. Maybe like 0.6 a day. I'll have to wait until this clicks very over later, because they don't really give you they don't give you like the same estimates that like Flexpool or Ethermine does. So it's a little bit more difficult on Crazy Pool to figure out exactly what you're making until you've made it. But overall, not bad. That's 0.3 ETH in 4 days, which we could actually calculate out for you guys, and I'll give you an idea. Let's just do a calculator. Rough estimate, 0.3 ETH divided by 4, 0.075 a day, which is pretty much actually at this point on par with what we were making on Flexpool, right? That does mean that, excuse me, Google.com, ETH to USD. Do they have that in here? Whatever. Coinbase will do it. That's $224 a day for daily profit over the past 3 days on average on Crazy Pool for our Ethereum. What does that mean? Well, I think overall we're up about $20 a day compared to last week, and that's thanks to the increase of price of Ethereum. If we take a look at the miner over here, we have our Bitcoin miner online, the Coin Miner C16. I did add the affiliate link for BT miners down in the description. Please utilize that one if you can for me. That would be of great benefit if you do decide to purchase some ASICs through them, as they are a sponsor of the channel. We should have a review for this ASIC coming out this week. We also have the A4000 and the A2000 reviews coming out this week as well. So lots of stuff coming to the channel. Make sure that you're subscribed and ready for it, because on top of the clips, we have a whole bunch of dedicated videos that are going to be launching. So make sure you don't miss anything. I think that at this point, what I'm most interested in personally is I'm kind of at I'm in a weird spot where I really want to build an A2000 rig. Like I want to build an 8 GPU or 12 GPU A2000 rig. I'll talk about that in the review and why. But I also want to keep getting and finishing off my Bitcoin ASICs. And then I also have an opportunity to purchase some 6600s for really cheap. So I'm trying to calculate out what I want to do and what the best move is. It's very difficult to make these moves. At this point, if it's going to be like, yo, you can get 6600s for 300 a pop, I'm probably going to jump on those, because why wouldn't you, right? So that's kind of where I'm at. I'll let you guys know what I end up deciding, of course, and what kind of deals that I get. It does look like the 6600s are going to be the best bet for me right now at this point, as far as like price to performance. Let's look at what to mine. What we have here is an RTX 3090, and we need to update the Zel hash to 110 solutions a second. If you are not getting full 110 to 115 solutions a second on Flux with the 3090, make sure you're utilizing the Mini Z miner. While it hasn't had an update in a long time, it is by far the best across the board for mining Flux, and you will increase your hash rate just moving to Mini Z. Make sure you're on it. Make sure that's what you utilize. So on the 3090, we are at $3.90 a day after 10 cents a kilowatt hour, slowly climbing back up. Can't wait to see those $5 a day numbers again. That would be super helpful. Once again, the nice hash Zel hash is paying out more than mining Flux directly. So I presume that when we go ahead and look at the mining pool statistics, that we will see some spikes on solo pools once again. We have ETH coming up out of nowhere, 239 a day, really making some waves. And then we have Conflux at 233 a day, making some waves as well. And then we have Z Classic at 234 a day. Ethereum Classic at 225 a day. A lot of altcoins looking really, really strong. Really, really strong. All of these kind of in the top, whatever it is. How many of these do we got? Over $2. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 coins over $2 a day. Pretty awesome stuff. The ones falling behind that we would hope to see better performance out of course, Ravencoin, which its performance since the halving has been quite disappointing, and Ergo. I think a lot of the Ergo struggle is, of course, this reemissions problem, a lot of uncertainty surrounding Ergo, and I think it's well-deserved uncertainty, in my humble opinion, as, you know, it is what it is. So let's go ahead and look at the 2080 Ti, as it usually performs better on Flux, and we just want to see what's going on with it. Ethereum is going to take the lead if we aren't mining with the 2080 Ti with NiceHash on Zelhash. So that's pretty interesting. On NiceHash with Zelhash, $1.84 a day after 10 cents a kilowatt hour power. On ETH, $1.83 a day after 10 cents a kilowatt hour after power. Now, technically, both the Zelhash number and the Ethereum number are higher, all right, on the 2080 Ti. For example, it's usually 60 megahash a second on Ethereum. And then on Zelhash, it's really closer to that 90 solutions a second. But it does scale properly, so we're going to leave it there on the default settings as far as that goes. Whereas on the 3090, for example, it has, let's see if we can go back one more. It has the full ET hash at 114 megahash a second, but it never updates the Zelhash properly. So that's why we bring the Zelhash up on the 3090, but we don't bring it up on the 2080, if that makes sense. Hopefully that's clear why we run it like that. On the RX 580, we're looking at Ethereum at almost over $1 a day after power. It's at 94 cents a day after power. We got Firo in here at 46 cents a day after power. Things are looking rough. Really, I guess ETH at 55 cents a day after power is looking good. Ethereum Classic at 49 cents a day after power is looking pretty good. Everything else not looking so great, but you know, you could go buy an 8-buy if you wanted to from Biostar. Well, I say that. I had to send an inquiry. I don't know where you can actually buy it. So there's that. Let's look at mining pools and see if there's any crazy changes going on here. On Bitcoin, 202 exahash a second, we have a drop from the 27th of 4 exahash a second. We talked about it yesterday. It dropped even a little bit more from yesterday, another exahash off of the network dropping. So it looks like it's a nice time if you're looking at trying to expand into Bitcoin mining to go ahead and get into it. Of course, I'm sure this will surge once again, but the price is surging as well. So not a terrible looking proposition. If we take a look at Ethereum, we're back over 1 petahash a second, as expected, I suppose, at this point, because we also have a pump in Ethereum hash rate or Ethereum price as well. So Ethereum looking pretty good. Let's take a look at that Flux. Flux is probably seeing some of those solo mining. We're at 2 mega solutions a second with huge off and on spikes coming from, of course, the solo pools on minerpool.org. 2Miners hasn't had a solo pool spike in a while. We do have solopool.org having a couple spikes. So all these, you can see these rentals coming in and out on all of these solo pools. People are getting ready for those node reductions. It's looking good. Let's take a look at Ravencoin and see what's going on here. Not a ton. Looks like 3.78 terahash a second. So we've dropped 0.22 terahash a second from yesterday, actually, continuing to drop in hash rate, not increasing in profitability. Very disappointing performance from Ravencoin for the miner at this point. Let's look at Ergo. I assume we have kind of the similar story over here. 14.5 terahash a second, so not a drop from yesterday. We have a couple pools coming back online. 2 pools still offline that never updated. I guess they're just going to be gone at this point. I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. We do have this little dip off that happened on 2 miners. We talked about it yesterday. Let's go ahead and look at this ETH stuff, right? So this one is the new one that we saw, of course, increasing in profitability. Are we seeing a corresponding increase in hash rate? The answer does look like yes at 6 gigahash a second, but on the 28th it was higher, right? So we had that 7 gigahash a second drop down to the 3 range and then coming back up over 6 gigahash a second. So kind of a dip off and then coming back in. It does look like people are right now catching on. You can see a spike here on Cool Pool. You can see a spike here on Digipools. I'm seeing a spike on miningfrance.io. So we are seeing some increase in interest in ETH. So be careful out there if you're going to switch your rigs over. Keep in mind when people see stuff like that, everybody starts switching their rigs over. Your profitability goes down. Be very careful. We do have like a corresponding difficulty drop. Let's just see what happens, okay? Keep your eye on it. Don't by any means go switching out. Let's take a look at profitability on Ethereum for Ethereum pools. Last 90 days, Crazy Pool in first, Flex Pool in second, Mining Pool Hub in third. Last 60 days, Flex Pool in first, Crazy Pool in second, Mining Pool Hub in third. Last 30 days, Flex Pool in first, Mining Pool Hub in second, Ethermine in third, Crazy Pool dropping down to fourth place. Last 21 days, Mining Pool Hub in first, Flex Pool in second, Ethermine in third. Last 14 days, Mining Pool Hub in first, Flex Pool in second, Crazy Pool in third. For the last 7 days, Mining Pool Hub in first, Crazy Pool in second, Ethermine in third, Flex Pool dropping to fourth place. Last 3 days, Ethermine in first, Flex Pool in second, Nano Pool in third, with Crazy Pool dropping all the way down to almost second to last place. And for the last day, we have Nano Pool in first, Ethermine in second, Crazy Pool in third. So a lot of people do ask me what's going on with Crazy Pool. Obviously, we were doing 0.1 ETH a day there for a couple days in a row, and then it dropped off, and then we averaged out to being about the same as all the other pools. Why does that happen on Crazy Pool? Why isn't it more consistent like the other pools? And the answer to that is a much lower hash rate on Crazy Pool compared to these other pools. So in theory, if the hash rate increases on Crazy Pool, there is potential there for it to remain in the top 3 or even be the top paying pool because it will have more blocks to essentially disperse out. It doesn't necessarily find a ton of blocks if you compare it to something else, right? So if we took a look at like the amount of blocks found, you can see here that for today, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blocks found. If we compared that to Flex Pool, for example, right? You know, a lot more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 on the first page. It goes over multiple pages, right? So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. See what I mean? You're talking about a lot more blocks being found on larger pools. So that's kind of how that functions as far as it goes. I'll be covering more on Crazy Pool because part of the problem with Crazy Pool is their Stratum proxy. They use the nice hash one. It makes it a little weird with different miners. They still have that problem, but luckily they don't have any more the problem of, you know, super strict firewalls that are kicking you off for mining from different IPs, which I definitely had an issue with for a while, and we talked about it there, but I will be doing a follow-up to that video as well. Let's take a look at the ASICs. What we got here is the KD6 in first place. This Antminer E9 I have no confirmation on, So I don't see it on the main Bitmain website. I don't know where this rumor is coming from. I don't know if it's real. I don't trust it. KD6, $115 a day. Kadena is not moving back up with the rest of the market from the mining perspective, unfortunately. So the KD5 at 78.17 a day. The Antminer L7, 27.58 a day. Definitely not worth the pricing on those right now. Scrolling down, if we look at the S19 Pros, they are finally coming back into their own, getting back above that $15 a day. It's looking like my coin miner is doing $18 a day right now on Bitcoin, though. So I assume the S19 Pro is even better. Okie doke. Let's go ahead and get to questions and answers. I'm popping out the chat now. Remember, super chats are never required, always appreciated, and the easiest to read, so they get answered first, always. The next easiest to read is going to be if you tag me at Son of a Tech. So please, if you are going to ask a question, make sure that you say at Son of a Tech, so that way I can read the message. Let's go ahead and pop into it and see what's going down. The Stick Shark says, ask Son of a Tech, how much would you pay for an A2000? I haven't seen any less than about $650. So if you're going to buy in bulk right now, it looks like you can pick them up for about $600 a pop. If you're going to be purchasing them from Micro Center, they're about $650 a pop. I'm pretty game around $600 a pop. It's $15 a mega hash. And they're just easier to build with than anything else because they don't require an additional 6-pin power adapter, meaning you can really slap a lot of those into rigs. You know, if you're looking at a traditional, like, I'm trying to think here. So what makes them special compared to like a 5600, right, which would have around the same hash rate and same power. To be fair, from the wall, the power is still on the A2000, going to be about 20 watts less. No, 10 watts less. 10 to 15 watts less. But the big thing is you don't have that additional 6-pin power adapter. And if we're talking about just ordering like parallel miner, breakout boards, plugging those into server power supplies, you can really, like, all you need is one 6-pin per riser. Bam, 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 bam. If you have a riserless motherboard option like the Octo Miner or something, you just slap those babies in and you're good to go. They run pretty cool, much cooler than the A4000s. They are really easy to configure, and they just seem to just crank out 43 mega hash a second at super low power consumption. They are right now my favorite cards. But like I said, the problem there is if you can pick up, you know, 6600s for cheaper, they kind of make more sense. Blunt says, at Son of a Tech, thoughts on staking just by holding in the wallet? The new CPU token going around has it. That's pretty common. It has been a thing for a long time. If you're going to do that, obviously that wallet needs to, I assume, I shouldn't say obviously. In most cases, that means the wallet needs to be online and synced at all times. I would still recommend essentially purchasing a VPS solution and essentially staking in the VPS and having that running 24/7. I would use the Linux wallet, a headless option. I haven't looked into that one in particular, but I still wouldn't just run it on a Windows PC at my house, personally, because the uptime matters a lot for staking. All right, Stephen Mack says, ask Son of a Tech, if you don't buy the 6600s, will you share the connection so I can? Yeah, probably not, because I think it's, honestly, it's a deal for that I was offered. There's not a lot of them either. I think there's like 3. Tony says, as Son of a Tech, I'm trying to build a workstation with Threadripper and dual NVLink 3090. Should I wait for the next gen Threadripper and see what Intel has to offer with Raptor Lake? Yeah, I would wait, because what, we're pretty far behind. Threadripper is pretty old now at this point, right? But, you know, the other problem is if you wait, you're always waiting. Varol says, Ask Sanctions, can you please comment on RTM and XCH? I don't really have any comment on those at this time. Let's watch our language, boys, so that you don't get blocked. All hashed up says, Ask Sanctions, do you think only 6 gigabytes of VRAM is a problem for the A2000? Just picked up 8 from Micro Center and worried it might not be great for the long run. Well, what are you worried about? Because ETH, in theory, would move to proof of stake before it ever goes above 6 gigabytes. And then you're already mining other cryptocurrencies. Maybe, well, so I will say this, not maybe. For sure, there is an issue with, I believe it's Conflux doesn't mine on it. Was it Conflux or Cortex? That requires the over 6 gigabytes. But as you've seen, those coins aren't performing very well anyways. So it's going to perform fine. They perform fantastically on like Ergo, for example. And that's not going to have a huge increase in DAG size at all. So no, not really a big issue. If you are worried about it though, the A2000s do have an option for the 16, I believe it's the 12. They do have a 12 gigabyte model, I believe. Yes, they do, but I don't know where to source those right now at this point. Racco says, Ask Sanctions, have you made a video about the upcoming nodes for Flux? I have, but you know, until they come out, I'm not going to make another video. Alvados says, Ask Sanctions, Pulsar just started on CPU mining. Also, wallets mine is proof of stake. Will you join? Nope, I'm not going to join. Rapid Mining already made the video. Profitability is going to be rough, so I'll stay off of it and stick to my Varus coin. I like Varus coin for a lot of reasons. One, of course, is the Pi mining. Of course, the cell phone mining, all that sort of stuff. So I'm just going to stick there. I'm happy there. Plus, my Threadripper runs really well on it. So it's been the one that works the best, I suppose, for me. We have a couple super chats coming in. Air to the Ron, thank you for the $5. Says, appreciate all the info. I wish trade analysis and other content creators in this space understand the importance of proof of work, sovereign perspective. I think that's, well, I don't run around with a lot of the trading analysis people or content creators that aren't miners necessarily. So I don't have a lot of perspective on what they think. I do know, like from BitBoy's perspective on Bitcoin moving proof of stake, that's a little misguided in my humble opinion, because the voting happens through the miners. Miners aren't going to vote themselves out of either the ASICs at this point because there's too many of them, right? So that's another thing. GPU miners are like, well, we could fork Bitcoin into a GPU mineable only, and that would be the way to go. Nobody's going to do that, okay? So things that won't happen. Bitcoin being GPU mineable or CPU mineable in a profitable manner, right? Or moving to proof of stake because of the way the governance is handled on Bitcoin. Ben's 310 says, when RebTech review and Bits Be Trippin' interview. I'm trying. So we did about 14 hours a day from Friday through Sunday. I worked pretty much all day yesterday as well, except for in the evening, for my daughter's birthday lunch, and then in the evening for jiu-jitsu. I'm trying, but I do have the RebTech board back here. Now, the thing about the RebTech board is I don't have to send this back to him. So I have more time on this than I do on the A2000s, the A4000s, and the mining case that I showcased in the mining farm tour yesterday, because all of those got to get sent back. So their priority on reviews. Then this comes. We also got a GTX 1070 here. I finally found one to do an updated review on these cards. If we start getting good used market prices on these, It's looking like Flux and a good hedge. The 1070s are looking really good. So that's what I think as far as that goes. Should you buy, says Asamatech, should I base my purchase price of GPUs on hash a second or shares a second? Well, you'd have to do it on hash a second because shares a second is going to be dependent on the pool. Remember, each pool, depending on the amount of miners on the pool and the amount of shares that they dish out every single block, is going to significantly change the way how many shares you get. DMC3 says, Asamatech, boss, what do you think about getting 10 times 2060 supers nowadays? 550 each. I don't know. Maybe good. Let's see. I mean, you're just going to have to go to what to mine, right? Just as always, just what to mine. I don't remember what the 2060 supers do, though. It's not on what to mine, is it? So we go to MinerStat. MinerStat hardware. Do they got it listed here? 2060 super. You got ETH at $1.48 a day. How much is their hash rate? 38 mega hash a second. I think you can get a little better than that, 40, right? Something like that. But if we did calculator, 550 divided by 30, let's say 39, just kind of keep it the same. That's under, that's $14 a mega hash. You can buy brand new A2000s from Micro Center for $15 a mega hash. See what I'm saying? You can buy brand new 6600s right now for $15 a mega hash. I guess you have a better option for Flex Pool when ETH moves proof of stake. Or not Flex Pool, Flux. I don't know why I said Flex Pool. Does it perform well on Flux? I don't think the 2060 was necessarily great for Flux. No, it's not. 36 solutions a second. Is that true? Is the 2060 Super really only 26? I don't have one, so I haven't tested one, unfortunately, there. Ooh, there we go. I got to go in about 3 minutes. Trying to get through. Let's see. So that Sean Voltez says Asamatech was a theoretical hash rate of the 6900 XT with 18 gigabits per second memory. So, what was it again? I forgot where the... I would have to do the math out. I thought we had done it before. I think the total bandwidth was... I'm trying to look it up. So with that, it would take the total bandwidth up to 576 gigabytes per second. So here we go. So this is what we can do. So to figure this out, what we would want to do is see what the 6900 XT memory is going to be now, or whatever. We can go here, specifications. Is it on here? So 512. All right. So it's 512. So we go up from 512 to 576. We can go to a percent calculator. And then we would say, what is 576 of 512? Calculate that out. That'd be a 112%. So then we want to know what 112%, 112.5% of 63 mega hash would be. We calculate that out. we would see a result of 70 mega hash a second with the memory upgrade on the 6900 XT. That should be the sound math there for you guys. All right. Your mom. Hey, mom. At Son of a Tech, Alfton isn't doable for me because of the heat, and you have no light hash rate GPUs. Any thought on ZIL? Also, can't ZIL to proxy mining to Ethermine working on T-Rex? You can't get it working. There's some guides on it. I think Red Panda Mining has the best guide for ZIL right now. I'd have to go double check. But as far as the ZIL mining, you have to keep in mind the way that ZIL's not really dual mining. It's a little deceptive because what the ZIL processes blocks every once in a while. I think it's like once an hour. And so what happens is when it goes into processing, your miners stop mining Ethereum and start mining ZIL. So for that time, you're not mining Ethereum. In my opinion, it doesn't really make it worth it to do ZIL at this point. That's how I feel about it. The Stick Shark says, that's I'm a Tech. Always look forward to the crypto mining show. Watch it as much as I can. Thanks, my dude. Eric Bedross says, Ask Simon Tech, what do you think will happen to ETH prices in the next few months? Are you bullish, bearish? Why? I don't know. I mean, like, to say I know would be ridiculous. You know, during tax season, I was expecting, you know, if we were in a regular super cycle, I was expecting ETH and Bitcoin to go down. I still think that Bitcoin should be outperforming Ethereum from a fundamentals perspective. And so that's my personal opinion on it. Does that mean that's the way the market sees it? Not at all. Obviously, there's a whole bunch of people super bullish on NFTs, etc., and that's going to drive up the price of Ethereum because, you know, 80% of the NFT marketplace is on Ethereum, and 80% of that is on OpenSea specifically. So there you go. Polygon's another one that's probably going to pump, even though I don't agree with the fundamentals. Let's see. Let's just grab. I think that's going to call it for today, boys. I'm going to get ready for jiu-jitsu. Get in there and get some rolls in. My back hurt all night and I didn't sleep a lot, so I'm sure it's going to be a pain in the butt. But it is what it is. It doesn't mean you skip. So I'm definitely not going to skip. A4000 review today. I don't have a roll recorded for the Koi miner yet or the A2000, but I have all the testing data done. So I'm going to try to get the script made and get those videos recorded and edited and ready for the rest of the week. And then you guys are aware of everything else that I'm working on as far as that goes. So stay tuned. Make sure you hit that like, comment, subscribe, etc. So there you go. I will see you next Tuesday.